So, when we're talking about synthetic telepathy, who are we? The song is playing. I don't know if you could hear it on the radio. It's The Who. Who are you? Because when you start really examining mind, and I don't know, the spiritual teachings that we share a common mind, and we're using high tech means to jump between minds, to connect up to minds, connect minds up to computer systems. Where's ground zero? Most people are going to say organic, like skin. That is ground level reality. Everything to do with skin. So, I don't know, olive oil in my food makes my skin nice. But people are going to say, look, we've got a planet, it's solid rock. And the stuff that we eat is solid food that grows from biology. From a seed. It doesn't grow from nothing. It comes from a seed and it, does the... so I don't know. Because we're trying to see, in our reality here on planet Earth, what came first, organic or supercomputer? Because our reality might be a created reality created by supercomputers. That were housed in a previous or in another reality that's considered previous to our reality. Somewhere the organic skin was original. And that civilization developed supercomputers, and we are living in a supercomputer. We're shown that kind of technology in Star Trek The Next Generation. I don't know, because everybody wants to know where do you go from here, and the answer is I don't have the answers because I'm not running the supercomputer high-tech machines. It's just that in Star Trek, again, The Next Generation, the character of the Traveler and Kaczynski. The Kaczynski was an engineer who was bluffing his way through impossibilities by just bullshitting that he was somehow using mathematics and some kind of formula to make the Enterprise go even faster than what it could go before. But the truth was that the Enterprise was going faster, not because of the engines being tuned up by Kaczynski, but because they had a person on board called the Traveler who was doing it with intense concentration. Without computers, just with intense concentration. It just gets back to the same idea over and over again that, that we are muggles because we believe we're muggles and our world appears to be muggles, usable. With heavy equipment you can build everything. And it seems like generations of us are muggled. Why do we believe that we can do magic and wizardry? Because I've seen it with my own eyes. Impossible things. Could the impossible things be done by the computer? Well, if we live in a holodeck, and it's being actually run on a computer, then it should be able to be changed the programming, but you got to get the access codes. And I talked about this years ago, 5 years ago, and I haven't had any movement as far as getting information on that. But why need the computer? Because we just showed you in Star Trek. Then, well, maybe they didn't need the Traveler. Maybe Kaczynski could do it on his own. Well, I don't think so. At least the way they showed it. Maybe they could show it a different way, that Kaczynski in another mirror universe could do it on his own without the Traveler. Can a supercomputer run by Kaczynski replicate what the Traveler does with intense focus? Can an android like Lieutenant Data do the same thing as the Traveler, or is it only somebody who appears to be organic? Does consciousness have to be organic, or can it be inorganic? Consciousness comes first is a spiritual teaching that it makes sense in our reality, maybe not in other realities, but consciousness comes first is proved because you get an idea that you want to get a new house, you got a lot of money in your bank account, and so you go to a builder and you pick the blueprints, and the blueprints are used and customized in order to build your house. And then you move into the house. So first thing that happens is that in consciousness, the house, and sometime later, after all the physicality of the muggles building it for you, you'll get the house. But what happened first? In consciousness, the idea of you getting a house. And then later on, you getting the house. So in our reality, the idea in consciousness comes before the manifested item. I can't go into other realities where that doesn't work because I don't live in that reality, and it would be very, very, I don't know, cartoonish maybe. So then, cutting to the chase, how do we become like the Traveler in Star Trek: The Next Generation? The only answer I can give you is you have to go up higher on the scale of human consciousness, because it would seem to me it would come with more consciousness. And staying put at the low levels of human consciousness, I don't expect you're going to be gifted with something. In other words, you're going to have to work for it. And spiritually, because I don't know how else you're going to earn it. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through a bunch of technology, and you're going to have to go and beat Google and Elon Musk to the punch, and they're way ahead of you. The only way you can beat them is you have to build your systems on your inbuilt systems that you already have, that you were born with as a person. But aren't you interfered with by high-tech mind control? All the same, yes, I think you can still do it. And that is what we're doing. Despite the fact that everyone is I don't know, hooked up electronically and monitored surreptitiously for most of you, but some of us, for unknown reasons, they let some of us know that they do monitor us. I don't see the logic in ever letting us know that they monitor us, remote control. It adds to their ability to torture us, and it must be some way egoic human that's just not good enough to always keep quiet about it. It just seems to me that once you open your mouth about it and you let us know that you are, confirming what Stuart Wilde, the metaphysical author, told us in his books, I don't know, 15 to 20 years ago. It's just that if we set the intention to have heaven on earth, we should get our intention, despite the fact that we're being harassed by electronic harassment. What about moment to moment when you're harassed into buying meat? Can it happen? Yeah, I think so. Harassed into buying booze? Yeah, anything? I think so. So it's really going to be up to the people who electronically and remote control us and monitor us to decide whether we're going to go to higher consciousness or not. Is that true? Um, I'm not getting any words on this one. Do you think that you could be mind controlled into being evil? So far, I haven't been. From my perspective, even though there's many people that I've chewed them out and called them fuckfaced and things, from my perspective, I see a lot of truth being spoken by me, because the truth is in the truth, and the truth is in the truth, and I stand in the truth, and I'm not, upset about anything that's gone on. Really, I've just been human. So, is there a plot for those people who terrorize us to let go of control, or are there outside intelligences that are helping us escape? I believe there are outside intelligences that are helping us escape, because otherwise it's too small of a game. It's a kid's game that you play when you're 8 years old, from Parker Brothers or something, Hungry Hungry Hippos. And our world is too complex, because otherwise we couldn't possibly have this going on. The next steps that we are watching for, keep watching for your synchronicities, and keep worrying about if you are living in a matrix-like reality, like what Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne and Carrie-Anne Moss were in, 20 years ago in those Matrix movies. Try and figure out if the reality you're living in is organic, or it's holographic, simulated. Because even real reality might be holographic, because there was a book by Michael Talbot 20 years ago, 25 years ago, The Holographic Universe, and he wasn't proposing that we lived in a holodeck electronically created like Star Trek. It was organic. And Greg Braden, his book was called The Divine Matrix. How do you get more help? I don't know. I've been beat up horribly, 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 and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. So part of doing everything that you're supposed to do is, at least for me, getting really, 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 really beat up by this electronic harassment. Is it a game? No, I don't know. Like, some people from the electronic harassment team continue to say this is a game, like Jumanji 2, and once you've won the game, then we're all going to appear someplace and have an after party and celebrate that we had another game, because this was actually presented to us by um, some people that talk about like monads. At some level of consciousness where we're closer together. Not in this dimension, but another dimension we're closer together, maybe the monad. We also think that Laura Eisenhower knows a lot about, this realm and the afterlife realm, because she made some comment once when she felt like they were threatening her physical life, that she would still fight on from, the afterlife realm, and it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal to do that for her. Which is very odd. Are people in the afterlife dimension? I mean, is there actually an afterlife dimension? I don't know, because I'm trying to go through all of this to the book learning that I've got, even from spirituality, and it's all book learning. So, is it like it happened for that person, it doesn't happen for you, or can happen for everybody? I feel very limited. Which makes me think that a lot of the spiritual textbooks are wrong. Because it seems like the things that are supposed to be divine right timing are probably being under the control of people in our reality. The Earth Coincidence Control Office, why do they call it a control office instead of a freedom office? Why do you want to control coincidences? That's the Dr. John Lilly teachings. ECHO, Earth Coincidence Control Office. Do you want to be an agent of ECHO? Something to do also with dolphins and ketamine and float tanks. It's just that, I've been tortured for 6 years with a bunch of dumb people that, that torture me. They're not intelligent at all. So I have to do it all based upon my intelligence, and this is what I come up with, and the people that I bounce ideas off. Once in a blue moon, they actually come up with something that's interesting. It filters through from higher consciousness. Part of the whole thing is that we live in a world of density here on planet Earth, yes. And are there things that are stopping? Yes, I get hijacked all the time. So are they blocking things from Source? Yes. Does Source allow them to do it? I don't know. Some parts of Source know how to block other parts of Source, but the higher consciousness of Source doesn't know how to block the lower physical things. That doesn't make any sense. And we were told that extraterrestrials stopped nuclear weapons, shut down nuclear weapons fields. So why is it that this is... Oh, I know, this one always comes back, and this one is very difficult for me to dismiss. It's the one that I always end up going back to, and that is that there's a big sting on planet Earth, and in other realms and places, other dimensions, where everyone is being tested. Everyone has been given lots of extra rope to hang themselves if they are acting evil. Either by doing evil or by standing by when there's something that they could do to stop an evil from happening. So everyone is being tested from far and wide. And that's why I'm allowed to be tortured, because there are people that know that I'm being tortured and don't report it or don't stop it. And there are new people that are being exposed to these informations, and the way they react is part of the way that they're judged. And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. told us, judge people based upon the quality of their character. So we have to judge people. He didn't say, don't judge people. He said, judge people based upon the quality of their character, not the color of their skin. So he said, judge people, the quality of their character. What is quality? What is character? Well, anyways, you all know those words. Do you stand up? Do you have a quality character, or a cheap and tawdry one? Because that's what that's what you're judged on. How are you going to be judged? Everyone is being judged for 5D Earth. 5D Earth is like what the planet wants, and there are 3 waves of volunteer souls that came here, and many of the volunteer souls, I think, have got into trouble because we were warned about this, that volunteer souls from other places come here to raise the consciousness of planet Earth, but they go through a mind wipe, and no one really understands down here on planet Earth why that has to happen. Unless the dark have got better technology than the forces of light, but the forces of light got more power, spiritual power to manifest things to go. I don't know. There's no one who wants to talk about another war in heaven, between. I don't know, because the further we go down this road, the less information comes, that they're like wide open. I mean, there's so many wide open information gaps that, watching this show, this ascension show from here on planet Earth as part of the ground team is completely blind. I was warned about this, though, by my teacher, Jerry Lynch, many years ago. Jerry Lynch and Sananda, the Ascended Master, told me that, the big picture, it wasn't so much that, but it was. Now looking back at it, because Jerry said, it's like you got your car and you're driving down a highway. There's no street lights. All you have are your headlights. You can still travel. You just travel, within the distance of your headlights. With your headlights shining. And you keep going, and you can keep going, and the headlights will give you that much light ahead of you so that you can keep going. But as far as lighting up the night sky, well, you need a thunderstorm and lightning. And it does come from time to time in different ways, and sometimes it's small lightning, and maybe it's going to be a huge solar flash where you're going to get a lot of answers to things that I sure hope so, because I have more questions and they're just too big. They're just like too big and, too long, knowing that I'm being kept in the dark. And there's people who are dumb who know more than I do. And it just doesn't seem fair and right, and maybe that's what the whole war is about. Is being controlled by stupid people, and I've had enough, whether it's, the Canadian government or hidden actors that, I don't know. Maybe they don't know any more than us, but they're, mind controlled to be what I don't know. So in the end, I don't know. We're trying to figure out more and more what is a monad when it comes to consciousness. Brent Beeson wants to know more about the code 144 or 144,000 or the 4400 that, I was put on to that show as an extra. And those people are supposed to have been kidnapped and taken off planet and then come back and have special superpowers. I don't know. My first gig was on Supernatural, and supernatural things seem to happen. But no, I don't know. This doesn't appear to be supernatural now.